Blood supply of spinal cord. Means artery and veins of spinal cord. Midbrain, pons, medulla, beneath the foramen magnum. This medulla continues as spinal cord. Here we are having the cerebellum. Now, the vertebral artery. Vertebral artery after its origin, it passes through the foramen transversorium of the cervical vertebra. As it passes through the foramen transversorium of the cervical vertebra, while it passes through this part is called the second part of vertebral artery. From its origin to the foramen transversorium of C7, it is called first part of vertebral artery. After the C1, the vertebral artery comes out and it enters through the foramen magnum. As it enters through the foramen magnum, from the C1 to the foramen magnum, we called it as a third part of vertebral artery. As it enters through the foramen magnum, it comes in front of the pons. And it meets to the vertebral artery of opposite side. And this together forms the basilar artery. This is basilar artery. So in front of the pons we get basilar artery. And from the foramen magnum till the formation, this is the fourth part of vertebral artery. This fourth part of vertebral artery, it gives many branches. Among them, one branch from each of the parts that descends down posterior to the spinal cord, known as posterior spinal artery. So there are two posterior spinal arteries. Whereas in front, the branches, they meet together and they make the anterior spinal artery. This is a single artery. This is the anterior spinal artery. This vertebral artery, from the fourth part of vertebral artery, we also get many branch to the cerebellum also, will come later. So in spinal cord part, we get one anterior spinal artery anteriorly and two posterior spinal artery posteriorly. So if this is our section of the spinal cord, we get anteriorly the anterior spinal artery, the big broad anterior spinal artery, and posteriorly two posterior spinal artery near to the sensory nerve roots. The thing is that these vertebral artery branches are not so long enough and bold enough to supply to the entire length of the spinal cord. So if we see the anterior part, this is the anterior surface. And this is the posterior surface. So here one anterior spinal artery comes from above, that's okay. And here two posterior spinal arteries comes from above, that is also still okay. But they are not bold enough to cover the entire length of the spinal cord. So in the cervical part, from the cervical arteries, the supporting branches goes. From the posterior intercostal arteries in the thoracic part, from the posterior intercostal arteries, the supporting branches goes. And even in the lumbar arteries, supporting branches goes above and down. Thus, it makes the chain of the artery throughout the length of the spinal cord anteriorly, and the chain of the artery, two chains of the artery rather, throughout the length of the spinal cord posteriorly. As it comes from above, the contribution of the vertebral arterial blood becomes less and less. In the lumbar region, almost there is no contribution of the vertebral arterial blood. And this lumbar artery, it is a big enough and bold enough. There is one lumbar artery rather, this is big enough and bold enough. That majorly covers the anterior spinal system. That majorly covers anterior spinal artery system. And this is called artery of Adamkus. This is called artery of Adamkus or arteria radicularis magna. Magna means large. These arteries are the radicular artery. These all arteries are the radicular artery. They are the feeder artery, feeder branches. And this one is so much large in one artery in the lumbar region. This is called arteria radicularis magna or artery of Adamkus. So what we can see in the spinal cord level, there is a chain of arterial anastomosis. Whatever with the posterior arterial flow, anterior arterial flow, there is anastomosis. And the anterior spinal artery, it almost covers It almost covers the two-thirds of the spinal cord. Anterior spinal artery, it almost supplies the two-thirds portion of the spinal cord. So if there is anterior spinal artery blockage somehow, there will be lower motor neuron lesion totally. Totally there will be lower motor neuron lesion. That means the person will go to paralysis. This person will go to paralysis. If we look at the veins, yes, there are veins here, here, posteromedially there are veins. There are veins here also, and in the portion of the motor root and sensory root. This is the motor root place. This is the sensory root place. There are veins. So spinal venous plexus, and this spinal venous plexus finally contributes to the vertebral venous plexus. So this is the arteries and veins of spinal cord.